So Angelica and I, we just got finished watching Wonder Woman 1984, or just Wonder Woman 84. And I have to tell you, Patty Jenkins is probably the worst director in all of human cinema right now. The beginning of the movie, there was a mall scene, and I hate to just spoil the movie for people, but this does have spoilers. But the beginning of the movie, there's a mall scene reminding me of Batman Forever with Michael, who was it? What's that guy's name? Val Kilmer. And then also the other Batman movie with George Clooney, just totally comical. A lot of impossible stuff in the universe, people popping up out of nowhere. Basically, the premise of the movie is you get to make a wish if you hold this stone, and then, of course, that power is transferred over to a person. Everybody gets one wish, but apparently Cheetah and other people apparently get two. Doesn't make any sense. The end of the movie, you got the bad guy, the main villain. He's at a building, which he had to take, in order for him to get to it, he had to take a helicopter to get to it from the presidential White House. But apparently his son pops up holding him at the end of the movie or running to him. So how the heck did his son get to wherever he was? And he had to leave his office building originally to get to the White House, then take a helicopter to get somewhere else. You got people popping up in and out of nowhere. Cheetah is stronger than Wonder Woman for some apparent reason, and that is not even the case. The whole universe that they created, the art of storytelling, is totally inconsistent for the world they created. None of it makes any sense. Totally unbelievable. People who were dead popping up out of nowhere. I mean, really? I mean, I don't know, honey. What do you think?
I'm very disappointed, actually. I love Wonder Woman. I was so looking forward to this movie all day, and
This movie was an
yeah,
embarrassment. When I saw the clip originally, I saw the clip with her swinging from the lightning bolts. I mean, really? I mean, really? And what really got on my nerve about this movie, well, first of all, swinging from the lightning bolts, that means she would have to be as fast as the Flash. All right. Now, I know there's people who debated in the DC animation universe talking about whether she's as fast as Superman, all that other mess. She's not as fast as Superman, okay? And then all of a sudden, she jumps up in the air. Her lasso suddenly reaches from the ground to the top of the building. Her lasso's not that long, and then she starts swinging from the back end of an airplane. I mean, really? There's just way too many unbelievable things in this universe or this movie, and it totally looks comical. It's a disgrace. And what really got on my nerves is that, number one, I don't get the whole thing about the heels. It's like the whole half of the movie was something about women in heels and all this other kind of stuff. But the main thing that really got on my nerve was this: the male bashing. Why would you end 2020 simply male bashing like you're some women's activist? Like, men don't do anything except swoon over unattractive women. Like, every time that one woman was walking around, the woman playing Cheetah, everyone was like, "Hey, babe, hey, you looking good today." Like, really? Like, I understand it's 84, but guys don't approach women like that, don't talk like that. I mean, really, it really stood out. Did you pick up on that, honey?
mm-hmm.
It was way too obvious. Like, a woman walks down the street and everybody's turning heads like, "Hey, baby, let me get your number. Like, let me take you out."
Well, it pretty much looked like a streetwalker, and
Right.
of course, men love streetwalkers. But in my take was that, I mean, I love the hills, but who wouldn't?
But
Anyways,
every inch of this movie showed like, oh, like, yeah, we want to get with you. Like, what's your number? It's like it portrayed men. It was way too much. Just portraying men like we're dogs and hounding and swooning over a woman walking by. Like, "Hey, babe, let me get your number." Like, "Hey, let me take you out." It was overdone. It wasn't like one or two guys or just one scenario. I mean, really? So this movie really turned me off, and I feel sorry for Gail or whatever, but the producers over there, and this is why in certain societies or certain things where people typically aren't accepted, because you get the reins, you get your ability to do something, and then you just totally kill it. It was way too much to depict men as though we're slime balls or horn dogs just trying to chase down a woman, especially in a 2 hour and 36 minute movie, and you basically have about 30 minutes dedicated to that. Like, she was good looking. She's not. She looked like, the woman playing Cheetah, whoever they got
She looked
to
like
play her.
50-year-old.
She looked like she's in her mid 50s, and there was nothing believable about her character. Now, I'm not too familiar with the whole background of Cheetah, but I know she's not as strong or as powerful as Wonder Woman. All right. But the way they introduced the whole scenario, it didn't make any sense. And for those of you who have seen this movie, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is one of the worst movies I've seen in a very long time, especially when you start talking about consistency. People talked about Batman versus Superman. It wasn't too bad. This movie really takes the cake. This movie was worse than Green Lantern, in my opinion. So I don't know where her head was when she produced this movie. I don't know who greenlit this. I don't know who approved the final cut, but it was absolutely terrible. Honey, you have any final thoughts on this? Because it was absolutely terrible. I mean, I'm like, well, what happened to Steve? Did he just vanish into thin air? She never recounted her wish. She just ran away. But I'm still trying to figure out how does this guy's son just appear up out of nowhere, and they're at the end of the movie holding each other.
I do have some final words. I'm not gonna sit here and try to think about it or analyze it. I'm just gonna leave it alone and just say how I'm very disappointed. Absolutely disappointed. I love Wonder Woman. And I love Gail and all that, but this was just a huge disappointment, and I just can't say anything else. I'm just very disappointed.
Now, I don't know the consistency of Wonder Woman being able to fly, but here's where it's really inconsistent. This movie takes place. This is the second movie. It takes place in 1984, right? And so apparently she's running. Now she could jump, and now all of a sudden she's floating through the air, and now she discovers she could fly. Whatever the case might be, I don't know. Maybe the director and producers got high and they said, well, let's just make her fly. But the point being is, you fast forward to Justice League, and you fast forward to Batman versus Superman, she didn't fly. Like, where are her abilities from then now being depicted in that? See, there's no consistency here. In the world that you're trying to create. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because if she has the ability to fly here, then that's something you would have shown in Batman versus Superman and also Justice League. This is what you call a terrible storyteller and a terrible director. Because you cannot create a world and create some type of consistency. Now, her first movie was great. There was no problem with the storyline, timeline, and all this other stuff. But why bring back somebody from the dead, and apparently he's in somebody else's body and all this other kind of stuff? And she's just like, oh, that's not you. Like, how did you know that? Oh my God, Steve, is you? So, I mean, really, within the same course of the scene, you went from not having somebody popping up who's dead, who still looks like somebody else, but knows a couple of lines from what Steve used to say. But yet he still apparently looks like this other guy, but he looks like, I guess she can recognize it. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I think I'm done because this movie was a total disgust. And again, way too many inconsistencies from the world that they created. Patty Jenkins, please do not touch anything else and don't ever direct anything again. Because if this is the best you have to offer with a large blockbuster movie from Warner Brothers.
And Gail.
I feel sorry for Gail. I mean, I really hope she didn't sign off on this. But my God. I mean, really? I think I've smelled outhouses that was better than this movie. All right, you guys have a good night. Later.